Thank you.
Next, we have Dr. Abhijeet Gatade, Assistant Professor in the Department of Food Science and Technology at Shivaji University, Kolhapur, with a PhD focused on the nutritional quality of noodles. He brings a wealth of experience in the product development and has served as a consultant for the PMFME scheme at Neptune, Tanjavur. Dr. Gatade is a certified FOSTEC trainer, lead auditor for FSSC D5, and holds various other certifications. He has authored several books, guided master level research projects, and published numerous research papers. Recognized with awards for his contributions, he continues to innovate in the field, developing value-added products and optimizing food processing techniques. As a respected speaker and resource person, Dr. Abhijeet is dedicated to advancing food processing entrepreneurship and ensuring food safety standards. I welcome Dr. Abhijeet to enlighten us on the topic quality considerations and handling of groundnut-based products. Over to you, sir.
Thank you so much, team GAIC and Indexed, for inviting me to deliver a session in this particular wonderful program, which is thoroughly necessary in terms of value adding the groundnut and thinking a lot about what quality consideration needs to be understood by a particular processor or a manufacturer. So what topic I have been got assigned is the quality consideration in handling of groundnut based products. So I'll be just going quickly into it. So as in the previous sessions, a few of the points has been already got covered by Tyagi sir and might be an honorable director sir also. So when we think about the processing of a groundnut, it's not directly what we consider as a groundnut processing. It is beyond that. So like once you just de-shell the groundnut, whatever the actual product we are considering as a food commodity is a peanut. So there is always a debatable thing like what we can term, whether it is the industry is in a groundnut processing or in a peanut industry. Obviously, it is an interchangeable term. You can call the groundnut as a peanut, but once it has been got de-shelled. So when we think about the groundnut processing and peanut, as my topic is handling the raw material or maybe the finished products to have its quality at par and have a quality maintained for a prolonged period of a time. So when we think about the raw material as such, obviously in case of any particular processing of groundnut, maybe converting it into peanuts, fresh peanuts, maybe a salted or coated nuts, maybe into peanut butter or maybe some other value added products where sir has also mentioned like the flour is also being get utilized for reducing the gluten content and developing many other gluten free products. So again, it's so on. So the raw material, whenever we do processing, is the groundnut itself. So we will be able to store the groundnut very for a longer period of a time because it has a natural casing, what we call it as a shell. So once you open this shell, now the internal food material, which is nutritious one, which is what we are going to utilize for our food purpose, is getting exposed, and now we term it as a peanut, and it will be having a little bit lower shelf life. So now it is a challenge how to handle these little bit enhanced or little bit increased non-perishable product and just think about its utilization in further processing. So that is what the topic is going to cover. So when we think about like somebody has asked what type of variety we need to use for some sort of product, it depends upon the intended qualities what you want to in your product. Say if you want to have a paneer which will be more in protein and less in fat, you need to think about the peanuts which are having high protein and less fat content. There are few varieties like Girnar is there. So again, like when we think about an international business, they term it as a low quality, middle quality and high quality groundnuts or peanuts when they process into multiple products. So again, that again depends upon the broken percentage, that depends upon the intact whole kernel of this peanut. Again, that depends upon the color, the size of the peanut, everything will come into picture, and based on that you will be having some quality grades which are much more having applications in developing a specific product of a specific quality characteristics what you are considering. So what when we think about the quality considerations, like to maintain the integrity of the raw material, to maintain the integrity of the finished product also. There are certain tools, there are certain systems what needs to be get implemented, and that is what we called as food quality system and food safety management system. So again, while considering the food safety and food quality in the groundnut processing or maybe in a peanut processing industry, there are certain preventive controls and prerequisite programs that you can implement, and obviously you will be able to maintain the product quality. I guess somebody's mic is unmuted. You can please mute your mic so that there will not be any disturbance. Chetan Kumar ji, can you mute your mic?
Hello.
Yes, sir. If you have any doubt, you can ask me, or else you can mute your mic.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir. So, like there are multiple factors which will come into picture when we think about handling and storing and processing of the produce to maintain its quality and integrity. So these are few of the points. Obviously, you will be able to get all these points covered in this particular presentation. And if you want to go in much details and understanding these all points, how we need to think about utilizing that knowledge into processing of groundnut, you can just log into this link, which is an UC Davis organization, which has developed a wonderful book dedicatedly for a peanut only, where they have covered all these points and what I am just utilizing over in my presentation. So when it comes to the facility, obviously the facility should be located at an area which is not nearer to any particular industry which is creating obnoxious odors, which has been got mandated by an FSSAI. It should not be near to any particular chemical industry. It should not be near to an airy dumping zone where the product might get contaminated because of those all contaminants which are nearby to your industry. So whenever we think about the facility, the building, the construction, it should be in a solid one. The outside area should be well drained and it should be well cemented. And again, there should not be any chances of entries for having harbors of any particular paste or maybe rodents or something else. So this is how the facility has to be get created. So again, when we think about the receiving of raw material, storage and its distribution for its particular use in the food processing, the raw material and the product should be stored under very particular sanitary condition. It should be in a very secured condition. So if you could see in this particular image, it's again an AI image, so where you will be able to see some products which has been got placed one and another. But again, there are certain gaps which has been got placed, created by placing wooden planks over there. So that is mainly because of having some ventilation, so that you see when we think about these grains are having an respiration quotient. Say, even though you have dried them, they will be always respiring and they will be generating huge amount of carbon dioxide. So sometimes heat damage to these grains may occur. Sometimes because of the improper maintenance of the humidity, the grains may start germinating also. So again, to have a proper ventilation, to maintain the temperature in the storage area, not to deteriorate and degrade the raw material, we need to do certain arrangements where the proper air and ventilation will be there. So again, when it comes to the raw material or either with the particular finished products, we need to implement a system called FIFO, that is first in, first out. So whatever raw material is coming first into your industry has to be get utilized first, and has to be get whatever is getting produced or manufactured in your industry first has to be go into a market first. So that is what we called as first in, first out concept. So when it comes to quality consideration or a safety concern, there are certain defects and contaminants which comes into an play. So the defects are might be we can call it as an hazard, we can call them as an contaminants also. So there are certain physical defects, chemical contaminants and microbiological contaminants. Anyhow, the predominant one, that is the physical defect, will sometimes show you the signs of chemical contamination and also microbiological contamination. But again, there are some chances like the microbial contamination won't be visible in a nature. You have to go for a thorough analytical thing. So in case of physical defects, it might be in a foreign material, it might be in a discoloration due to the improper handling of the raw material, and maybe a poor post-harvest processing what you have done. And there are some nuts which are shriveled one, which might be immature, which might be damaged, or which might be insect infested also. So again, all these things what we are considering comes under physical defects. So again, looking towards a prior most, or we can consider it as uh, a very important concept or a very important point is the chemical contaminants in terms of peanut, because whenever we talk about peanut and peanut product, there will be always a matter of concern regarding its toxins or regarding its allergenicity. So again, the chemical contaminants will come into picture, like aflatoxin, which is again a mycotoxin, will come into picture. Then some of the pesticides what has been got utilized during the farming, and again some of the heavy metal impurities what may come into picture as contaminants. So again, when we think about the microbiological contaminants, the deadlier one are salmonella and listeria. And again, there are some cases which have been got reported for E. coli and aspergillus also. So how to tackle all these defects and contaminants? So for that, you need to have a solid extraneous matter control system where you will be preventing the entry of these contaminants. You will be detecting the source of these contaminants, and obviously you will be having some controlling strategies for these extraneous matters. So again, the hazard analysis system, what we just consider, or the food safety management system, can be get implemented in the industry to understand the potential hazards and to get mitigate with the problem associated with those potential hazards. So along with this, you need to have a solid testing protocols, like whatever raw material is going to come into your processing plant, you have to take decision whether that raw material is processable or not, whether it is up to my specification or not. So again, you will be doing some chemical analysis, maybe an approximate or maybe an oil content and protein content. So far we are considering in case of peanut. And along with that, in terms of safety and hazard association, we can think about aflatoxin quantification and microbial contamination analysis. So this has to be get done by an approved laboratories only. It should not be like abrupt any laboratory. So again, as per the FSSAI, it is a mandatory, like whatever analysis you are conducting for your raw material or maybe for your finished products, it has to be get done by notified or approved laboratories only. So again, an NABL accredited laboratories may come into picture, and you can make use of that particular facility too. Or you can have an inbuilt in-house laboratory also, but again, you need to get an approval and a certified one from the FSSAI. So coming towards the most important point, that every groundnut processor or maybe an peanut value added products manufacturing businessman needs to understand is the mold contamination or the microbiological contamination of the produce. So obviously there are some chances, like once you have improper handling practices or storage conditions are not properly maintained, obviously there are chances of having mold infestation. So again, these molds are microorganisms only. They can thrive in a warm, humid environment. So again, you need to have a good ventilation. What I already told you in the very beginning of the slide, like a proper ventilation has to be there. Accumulation of any humidity should not be there, which may have increase the chances of these molds. So among these molds, the predominant one which are having a capability of producing the mycotoxins are aspergillus flavus and aspergillus parasiticus. So they have a capability to produce this toxin, what we called as an aflatoxin. So there are multiple types of aflatoxins which come into picture, like B1, B2, so G1 and G2. So again, out of them, like G2 or maybe B1, that depends upon how the growth has happened for that particular microorganism. So what is the solution to tackle up this particular mold infestation and aflatoxin formation? So whenever you are storing these grains, you need to maintain the water activity of these grains at less than 0.7. So obviously you have to dry the grains once they reach, or after immediate harvesting, you have to dry the grains so that there won't be any mold infestation, or there won't be any internal chemical reactivity also, which may hamper the quality of raw material. So again, the relative humidity should be always below 70%. And again, the temperature of storage should range between 0 to 10. So again, if it is not possible, you can rise up to 20, but not more than 20 degrees Celsius. So again, this has been also got taken up from one PDF which has been got created by FAO under Codex Commission, and where you can find it out all the recommendations which has been got made for peanut only, in particularly towards the aflatoxin contamination. So again, looking towards another microbial contamination is the Salmonella and Listeria, and there are lot of outbreaks which has came into a picture. But now the scenario is changing, and now the outbreaks is getting reduced. The cases are getting reduced. So again, if you see at a very early phase, or maybe in the year of 2008 or 2009, almost 714 cases were got sickened, and again out of them 9 people what got killed. So it's a deadlier one. Like the Salmonella may end up into an case called Salmonellosis, or Listeria may end up into an Listeriosis. So again, this scenario is most predominantly in the Western countries or Western area, and not pertaining towards the India as such, because we are used to of eating raw peanuts, and we have made our body in such a way like we will be able to resist some sort of toxins or maybe these infestations over there. But obviously, Salmonella and Listeria, if you consider as a mandatory guideline by FSSAI, they should be always absent in your sample. So that you will be able to find it out from the regulation, that is Food Product Standards and Food Additives Regulations of FSSAI. So again, you need to have a solid pest control system where you will be mitigating the problem of entries of rodents, pests, and insects, which are having a harbor of contaminating microorganism, and once they come into contact with your product, they will contaminate. And obviously, the well-known example is a rat. Rat has a very appealing behavior towards the peanuts. If you throw the peanuts, they will immediately come and grab that peanut. So in case of this, what we can say, the storage or the warehouse of this particular groundnut or maybe a peanut, the most important problem what the industrial is facing are the rat contamination or the rat infestation. So you need to have a rodent traps placed at an entry or every opening of your industry where there is a chance of having an entry of these rodents. So you can think about the chemical control system also, where whatever chemicals you are utilizing for cleaning of your area or maybe fumigating, or the pesticides what are being used to get rid of uh, all the rest of the plants whatever nearby to your vicinity, you have to segregate all these non-food grade chemicals from the food grade chemicals, so that they will not get added, or they will not get or your product will not get contaminated by these chemicals. So again, coming towards directly the processing, no matter what product you are processing, it might be only a deshelling plant, or it might be a peanut processing and converting it into a peanut butter, or maybe a chocolate cased product like uh, whatsoever the product we call it as a coated nuts or something else. The processing and manufacturing system has to be in a proper sanitized, and it has to be get maintained with multiple hygienic practices only. So when it comes to the production equipments, the construction and the installed equipment should be having an ease in sanitary or maybe any cleaning practices. So again, when we think about using the metals to construct this equipment, it should be thoroughly made up of stainless steel. Again, it is a mandatory guideline by FSSAI. So whatever contact surface is coming in contact with your food product, it should be made up of stainless steel only. There are multiple grades of stainless steels, among one 316, 304 or 430 are the predominant stainless steel grades what we are considering in case of processing equipment. And again, another more important thing is the specifications. You need to have a written specifications for your raw material and for your finished products, so that the quality what you are getting will be having uniformity. So again, there should be always some specifications pertaining to your packaging material. So it has already covered the different types of packaging material what you will be able to utilize for multiple products and applications out of the groundnut and peanut. So all the specifications has been got given as an IS standards, or you can go through the packaging regulation of FSSAI, where you will be able to find it out the different specifications associated with the different packaging materials. So again, the packaging or maybe the raw material or finished products should meet the regulatory and customer requirements as well. So looking at all this scenario, now we need to think like there should be some authoritative body, there should be some regulations which will make all these things possible, and to maintain the quality and integrity of produce, and to make these all products available in a safer way to the consumer and to the society of India. So we have a body, a regulatory body called FSSAI, that is Food Safety and Standard Authority of India, which has been got formed under an act called Food Safety and Standard Act 2006. And again, under this act, we have multiple regulations which are pertaining towards different activities. It might be a packaging, it might be a labeling, storing, processing, maybe a standards associated with every product. Everything has been got covered under different regulations of this FSSAI. And again, obviously, there are certain standards which needs to be get considered for each and every product, each and every raw material, or each and every finished product. So we are going to have a quick look on this. So when we think about the food safety standards, or maybe like FSSAI standards and regulations, the two most important terms which come into picture is food quality, and another one is food safety. So why we consider food quality and safety at a prior importance? Because the food is major determinant to the health and nutritional status, and also it is much more depending upon the productivity of the population. So when it comes to the food quality, it refers to the attributes of your product which may influence the consumer's acceptability. So there are, we can just broadly classify these food quality characteristics or attributes as negative attributes, where we don't want to have those properties like spoilage, contamination, adulteration, or maybe multiple hazards, what we have seen in previous few slides. And again, there are some positive attributes what we need to have in our product, which are an appealing properties, which every consumer will be thinking that this product should have in it. So obviously, when we think about managing the quality, we will be always working on having the positive attributes in a product and not to having negative attributes in our product. So that is what we called as quality management system. And again, along with that, we call as a food safety. It's an assurance that whatever we are providing as a food to the society is safe for consumption. And obviously, multiple factors like chemical safety will come, microbiological safety will come into picture. So again, the toxicity and hazard, these all definitions are well known only. So again, in order to ensure that the foods are safe and of a good quality across the world, various government and international bodies have laid down the food standards that manufacturers and suppliers are expected to adhere to. So in our case, like when we think about having a business in India, we need to abide with all the rules and regulation and standards given by Food Safety and Standard Act. So when you think about having an export business, you have to abide with the regulations and guidelines what the particular country is asking you to comply with. So again, there are multiple standards what you can think about. So some of the company standards are there which you can customize them, which has been got customized based on the national standards only, but it should not cross, or it should not be like not complying to the national standard. It should always comply to the national standards, and then you can think about whatsoever customization you want to have it in your company standard. Obviously, some international standards like ISO and Codex standards are there, that also you can think when you are thinking about having international trades for your product. So again, as I told you, there is a regulation called Food Product Standards and Food Additives Regulation, where you will be able to find out the definition of your product, the chemical quality requirements of your product, and obviously the microbiological aspects, and some of the times we are adding some additives in a product to just enhance the quality of product. Might be a coloring agent, might be some preservatives over there. So there are certain limits associated with the use of all these additives. So you can just go through this particular regulation, which is freely available on the FSSAI website. You can download the food product standards and food additives regulation and just go through whatsoever product you want to manufacture and what are the things you need to comply for. So again, if I consider this particular first product, and again, if you just think about the code number or the categorization is 2.347, it contains nuts. So again, where the first product is groundnut kernel, because as sir was asking, like how much consumption of groundnut is there for going for say like a direct consumption or maybe for a value addition. So it's almost 60% of the peanut or groundnut is going for direct consumption, either in the form of maybe a fresh one, either in a form of roasted or maybe in a coating, or it might be getting converted into multiple value added products. So again, these groundnut kernels, many of the businesses will be relying on these groundnut kernels, what we called as an moongfali or maybe an a peanut. So again, what are the standards? So the moisture should be always less than 7%, and the damaged kernel percentage, which is very important factor, it should not be more than 5%. So why it is so? If the kernel is damaged, it gets exposed for to the environment and the oxidation will happen, and eventually it will lead towards the rancidity, or there might be a chances of having some chemical reactions that may produce some obnoxious chemicals over there. So again, if I just go with the another category of food, that is 15.2, which is processed nuts, where we are thinking about the dry roasting, marinated or boiling of these nuts, that has been got covered. If I go with 5.1.3, it is covering the chocolate covered nuts. And again, if I go with 5.1.4, it is again the chocolate covered nuts, but again the chocolate is imitation chocolate. So again, if I go with 2.2, that covers fats, oil and fat emulsions, where if directly in a relation with the peanut and groundnut processing, we have product number 3, that is groundnut oil. So these are few of the chemical characteristics what every oil or whatever manufacturers are there who are manufacturing groundnut oil should comply with all these requirements. So again, it is an butyro refractometer reading or maybe or and a refractive index at 40 degrees Celsius, the saponification value, iodine value, acid value, and unsaponifiable matter has to be get determined. So again, you need to do the chemical analysis of your product, and again that will thoroughly depends upon the type of raw material what you are getting. So obviously, if you want to achieve and comply with the requirements or the specifications laid down by FSSAI, the two most important factor you need to consider is the analysis of final product and obviously the analysis of raw material. So again, in case of edible fats, at a product category list at 11 number, we have a peanut butter, which is a very famous product which has captured a lot of market. The boys who are going for a gym, they are much more relying on this as a protein source, but they also have some sort of specifications that you need to think. And again, when we think about this oil and the edible fats, the most important thing is it should be free from argemone oil and the taste should be always negative. So again, uh, like there is no actual data available for some of the traditional products what we are making out of peanut, like peanut sweet laddu, what we make in a home. There is no standard solid specifications available. But now, if I just go with some traditional products which are there in which we are manufacturing by using peanut, and again, what has gone into a commercialized level is chicky, the well-known example. But again, if I just go into an FSSAI regulation, we are not directly having as such direct specifications for peanut chicky. So again, it's under pipeline. If you just go on the website, whatever new regulations and specifications are going to come for new of the products, they have listed this product over there, and in few days or maybe in a due course of a time, the standardized specifications for peanut chicky will eventually come from FSSAI also. But now we have an IS standard associated with this peanut chicky, that is IS 7592, which will cover all the chemical parameters and microbiological parameters for peanut chicky. So this is how I have just screenshot that. I have presented the screenshot for that particular IS standards, which is pertaining towards the chicky. So this was all about the requirements and the specifications what you need to consider and comply to. So obviously, again, when we think about the raw material, the supply of raw material, and that too again of a good quality raw material is a key for success of any particular business. So again, you need to have a approved supplier control program, which will ensure the receipt and review of their required food or maybe the raw material in a safe and quality way. So again, you need to ask for COA, that is certification of analysis, which will give you an idea regarding the quality of raw material what you have got for processing. So if your COA is not complying with what requirements and specifications you are having as a raw material, you can directly reject the consignment and you can just ask for another batch. So again, obviously there should be a periodic testing of received raw material so that you will be maintaining the quality. So again, cleaning and sanitation is predominantly required in case of processing unit. Then preventive maintenance is very much necessary so that all the equipments and facility what you are having will work efficiently on. So again, the workers or maybe the human resources what you are having should have an integrity, like whatever I am doing is for the benefit of the society. So again, they should follow the personal hygiene guidelines, or we call it as in a personal practices, where they should do certain things and they should not do certain things. So again, wearing an apron, not wearing any ornaments, not exposing the wounds and the open cuts to the food product. When they are sick, they should not come and work on the floor. And obviously, if they are sick, they will contaminate whole of the lot. So this is all some of the ethics are there what needs to be get followed by the personnel who are working in a particular manufacturing section. So again, when it comes to making them aware about all these things, you need to go for having trainings and updations in the safety requirements. And you can think about having an FOSTEC trainings which are having multiple levels of training, like basic to advanced and maybe any special trainings, that you can think about opting it for your resources or human resources. So again, coming towards the packaging and labeling, so whatever produce you are producing, the integrity won't remain till it reach to the product if you are not having any containment and protection to it. So again, packaging plays a crucial role in this particular way. So again, the packaging what you are using should be appropriate and suitable for the product what you are considering. The label should be as per the labeling guidelines. All the points we are going to see with one example what things you need to have on your final finished products label. And again, the sealing should be a tamper evident seal so that you will be able to have an assurance like this product has not been got tampered and it has not been got treated wrongly at any course of a time when it has been got manufactured and when it is going to reach up to a consumer. So obviously, when we think about the packaging and labeling, the allergen management system has to be there. So there should be always a quote on your product, like peanut is allergenic to a few of the community or maybe few of the people. So again, the allergen, what we can say, a recommendation or a conclusion has to be there on your product, like this product contains peanut or this product contains nuts, or this if you are not aware like whether the source what we are having as an raw material, whether it may contain a peanut or not, so you can just simply write this product may contains peanut or nuts in this particular product. So this is how, as per the labeling guidelines or as per the food product standards or food safety standards labeling requirements which has been got given by FSSAI, you have to comply with few of the basic things, and you have to create your label in accordance to this only. So obviously the name and description of the product has to be there. Then the net quantity, how much you are serving in this particular pack, that has to be there. Obviously the veg and non-veg logo, that depends upon the what ingredients you are using. So if it is thoroughly peanut, obviously it is a veg only and you need to put a veg logo over there. Nutritional requirement, now there is a little bit change in displaying the nutritional value. Along with the nutritional value per 100 gram, now you have to give the nutritional value per serving, and along with that you have to include the recommended dietary allowance what your product is fulfilling. So suppose if your protein is protein requirement what we consider for a general human is 1 gram per kg body weight. So again, if your product is uh, fulfilling that requirement, at what percentage it is fulfilling, you have to mention it on the nutritional label. So again, in case of ingredient, if it is a single one, obviously the quantity will be 100%. If it is admixed with another multiple ingredients, like in case of peanut butter, where we consider a sweetened one, maybe a flavored one, or a cocoa added peanut butter, so you need to add the list of ingredients in a descending order. Whatever ingredient you are using is having more amount in the product, you have to write it first. Whatever ingredient you are using in your product, which is having a very least amount, has to be written at the last. So again, this is how you have to give recommendation, and this is how you have to write down about the allergens presence, like the allergen information, like it contains nuts. So again, in case of peanut or maybe almond nut, all types of nuts, this is a common recommendation what you have to make. Then the instruction of use, how to use it, how much you have to consume it, that also has to be given. The customer care number, manufacturing address, maximum retail price, and again the price per gram is also made mandatory by FSSAI to be get put on your label. The batch number, that is the batch identification number. So whenever there is a chance of having any particular scenario associated with your product, you need to recall the whole batch. So again, this batch identification number will come into picture. Anyhow, like barcoding or maybe an QR also you can utilize for this particular purpose. And the foremost important thing is the license number or maybe a registration number, which you will be getting once you register or once you apply through a proper channel to the FSSAI. So FSSAI logo along with the FSSAI license number has to be there on your product. So again, in case of manufacturing date and use by date, or sometimes you can add expiry date also. So again, you can refer the multiple requirements what you need to consider while labeling of your product under the labeling and display regulation of Food Safety and Standard Act 2006. So again, it's same like the finished product also has to be get kept properly, and again it has to be get transported well, and again it has to be get distributed well. So this is a short book what I have got published, and again this is an oil and fat technology handbook. If somebody is interested in extraction of an oil and has to start an oil extraction business, they can go with some sort of technicalities associated with oil extraction, what methodologies we can follow, what criteria and quality characteristics you can think when you are holding an oil extraction business. You can go and you can understand very well. It's in a very simpler way what I have put in the book. So you can log into these links and you can download the books available on Google. So these are few of the takeaways that I guess you all might be going to take away. Like the quality control is prominent for groundnut products, and again adherence to the requirements, maybe with the international standards or maybe an national standards like FSSAI, is crucial for ensuring product safety and consumer trust. Again, the continuous monitoring, improvement, and collaborations are key to maintain quality and promoting a thriving groundnut industry. So with this, and thank you all the organizers for giving me this opportunity to present what I am having in this particular field. Thank you all.
Thank you, Dr. Abhijeet, for useful information and awareness about food safety. We now invite the audience to ask any questions you may have.
Sir, is there any
Requesting all
infrastructure?
participants to share their questions in chat box. Moving forward, it is now my pleasure to introduce our next speaker, Mr. Sagar Arunkumar Chag, Managing Director of Gujarat Peanuts and Agri Products Limited. He holds a Bachelor of Engineering from he did Bachelor's of Engineering from DDIT Nadiad. He has experience of working in Dubai and London before joining the family business. He has 20 years of experience in the field of export and import of agri and food products. He excels in strategic thinking, anticipating future trends to transform the company from agriculture products processing to food processing. I welcome you, sir, to enlighten us on the topic export potential of groundnut-based products. Over to you, sir.
Uh, Good
So your
afternoon.
voice is not audible.
Sorry. Good afternoon. I'm
Yes, sir.
Sagar Chag. I will present today's presentation regarding export potential of groundnut-based products. I would say that it's not the good time to be the last presenter in the webinar, and that too just before the lunch time. But I will make it quick and give you some important points regarding the topic I have been given. Just a quick This is just a quick glimpse of our company, what we are doing, and we are in this business since last 50 years. I am the third generation entrepreneur, I can say, and we are into peanut processing in the city of Rajkot, which is located in Gujarat, and Gujarat being the largest producer of peanuts or groundnuts, we can say, in India. Today's my presentation has following agenda, which is overview of my presentation, types of groundnuts available in India. I will talk about Indian groundnut crop calendar with regional landscape of each state, and then global trade, uses of the groundnuts, benefits of groundnuts, opportunities and challenges in groundnuts export. So these are my topics today. Groundnut is the global powerhouse of groundnut. India is a global powerhouse of groundnut production, with India being the second largest producer of groundnuts after China and second largest exporter of groundnuts after Argentina. India is as I said earlier, it's the second largest producer of groundnuts after China, and there is a major consumption occurs within India as well. Now there are two type of groundnuts which are commercially traded or exported out of India, or which are used in further value-added products, which are Java type and Bold type. And there are many varieties available in the seed chain, as Dr. Verma Kera from in the earlier presentation talked about. And the most important these days is high oleic variety, which is upcoming variety in India, and that would be a revolution in groundnut export if, as and when it will be commercialized for the export market. Now I will go through about the crop cycle in India. Overall, you can see from the table that groundnuts are available in India year-round. The major crop being the Kharif crop, which is grown in Gujarat, Rajasthan. Gujarat and Rajasthan are one of the major producers of groundnuts, and major type being Bold type. Other regions like Karnataka, Andhra Pradesh, Uttar Pradesh, Tamil Nadu, they produce Java type of groundnuts. To brief, Java type is more of a direct nuts, or you can say table nuts. The uses are table nuts, and for the Bold type is more used in groundnut oils crushing, for peanut butter, etc. For further processing, you can say. This table will give you an idea about the production of groundnuts in India state-wise. The figures I have taken is from the production year 2023-24. As you can see, Gujarat is the biggest producer of groundnuts in India, Rajasthan being number 2, and the further states from Tamil Nadu, Madhya Pradesh, Karnataka, Uttar Pradesh, and other states. To give you a brief, Uttar Pradesh is being developed as a new sourcing for the peanuts, for the groundnuts in India. In recent past, we have noticed that Uttar Pradesh has been a major shift occurring for the groundnut production. Now let's talk about the global trade. Some facts are given in the slides. The exports of the number of tons exported out of India, India's global share. It is being exported to more than 50 plus countries, and the estimated annual sales out of India. This is the pie chart which gives you an idea about the total top 10 groundnut importing countries. Now, EU region is the biggest importer of groundnuts from all over the world. Their main use being peanut butter and in confectionery. Second is China, obviously being a most populous country, and again it's one of the highest producer of peanuts, but still they are importers. Then there is Indonesia, Vietnam, UK. Every country has had different use. If I have to give you some idea, as I said, EU has a use in confectionery. China, they buy for the oil crushing. Indonesia, they have a unique type of peanut paste or peanut sauce, we can say. Vietnam, again, is the same use as China for oil crushing. UK, it is mainly used for bird feed purpose as well as confectionery purpose. Now, let's see about the top 10 groundnut exporting countries. Argentina is #1 exporting countries. It's they don't have any local consumption there, or very minor amount. Mainly they produce their groundnuts for export purpose only. Then it is India, which has a big local consumption as well as exports. USA is the third largest producer as well as exporter. And then there is China, who also export their groundnuts, and Brazil. These are 5 major origins from where the groundnuts are exported. This table will give you an idea about top 10 groundnut producing countries and comparison with the exports of groundnut kernel basis. This table is will give you an idea of export kernel basis, not the whole products, only groundnut kernels. Major trade happening globally is of the groundnut kernels and not other value-added products, because groundnut kernels is the most traded and most convenient product to export. And then we'll have top 10 groundnut markets of groundnut kernels out of India, which you can see Asia being the highest purchaser of Indian groundnuts, and that again is groundnut kernels. These are the various products which can be exported, which are exported. Groundnut kernels, as we talked, is the highest amount of product. Then there is groundnut oil, blanched and roasted groundnuts, that is peanut butter, and groundnut DOC, or we say de-oiled cake, and its byproducts. Groundnut kernels is the highest amount of product which is exported, but India being a producing country, we should focus on more value-added products to be exported out of India, which can be groundnut oil, blanched and roasted peanuts, as well as peanut butter. These are the country-wise or market-wise some idea given for the various products being exported out of India. The groundnut kernels, groundnut oil, processed groundnut, peanut butter, as well as groundnut meal. These are the uses of groundnuts, where it can be used in edible use, for industrial use, for pharmaceuticals and nutraceuticals, which is an upcoming segment where peanut oil and peanut powder, peanut flour are used as supplements and medications. Edible use is like in snacks, roasted peanuts, raw peanuts are used in confectionery and snacks products. For industrial use, it is mainly for the peanut oil, which is used for cooking and for animal feed and further processing. Opportunities in groundnut export. There is an increasing demand of all the groundnut and the groundnut products, considering its protein content. And peanut butter and peanut oil from India are also gaining popularity worldwide considering the India's production, which is increasing since last 3 to 4 years. We have from India, we have different and diverse product offerings like raw peanuts, which is being exported in huge amount. But then we are seeing that roasted and blanched peanuts are gaining popularity out of India, and peanut butter as well. Traditionally, our Indian peanuts are very sweet in taste, and the taste is very much liked by the end buyers in different markets. We have different agreements with the different regions, which helps us to give our products at a competitive price. And we have another. Sorry. Now, what we can do to increase our exports in value-added products? Improved seed availability is one of the major factor that the government of India is doing good efforts in it, where the yields are going up, and high oleic peanuts, which is again good, the variety of high oleic peanut which is coming up. It can be a game changer in the exports out of India. Then there are technological advancements where modern processing technologies can help increase the shelf life of groundnut products and improve product quality. Sustainable manufacturing practices where exporting groundnuts under fair trade practices or with sustainability certifications can appeal to conscious consumers, particularly in Europe and US. We are getting good inquiries from Europe and USA where they ask for if it is fair trade produced or not. Now, what are the challenges in groundnut export? Working or exporting out of India, we have to meet international quality standards, which is essential for clearance of the groundnuts at the destination port. So we have to abide by all the standards that they put to us or our health agencies. Then there is a processing infrastructure which is going up, and many good amount of investment has been done in processing plants where exporters are putting more money and more care on doing process which are health conscious, as well as good sanitation practices are maintained. Then there is a price competition, which is again commercial criteria, but groundnut prices can be volatile due to weather conditions, crop yields, and other international trade policies. Then the last one, the challenge is branding and market access. Indian products are in a way has a disadvantages in aflatoxin content, where our products or our peanuts are not preferred because of aflatoxin contamination. So we are getting last preference. If we do not get any, if the world market is higher and our prices are cheaper, then only our buyers come to buy from us. So what we want to improve, or what we can improve, is that we have like good manufacturing practices where we can reduce the chances of aflatoxin, where we get our farmers get good quality seeds, and they also adhere to the good farming practices. So that can improve our branding of Indian peanut as a whole. These are some benefits of the groundnuts, which has been discussed in last by few other speakers as well. So I won't go much deep into it. Thank you. Thank you for your patience hearing to my presentation. And I would thank
Thank you, sir.
I would thank Agro Industries Corporation and iNDEXT-a to on giving me this opportunity to present my views in this forum. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for your forward-looking presentation on export potential of groundnut-based products. We now invite the audience to ask any questions you may have. Okay. As we draw curtain on this informative session, I'm honored to share my concluding remarks and extend my deepest gratitude to each individual who played a role in terms of today's webinar. Your participation and insights not only enriched our discussions, but also paved the way for a brighter future in the groundnut industry. I would like to acknowledge our speakers individually for their exceptional contributions. Dr. S.K. Tyagi, your expertise on validation and processing of groundnut shed light on the untapped opportunities within the industry. Dr. Amit Sindra, session on packaging innovations and oilseed-based products, highlighted the critical role of packaging in enhancing product value and marketability. Dr. Abhijeet, your discussion on quality considerations in handling groundnut-based products emphasized the importance of maintaining high standards to ensure consumer trust and safety. Mr. Sagar Arunkumar, your insights into the export potential of groundnut-based products opened our eyes to the global opportunities that await groundnut processes. Finally, I present my heartfelt thanks to everyone who has been a part of Beyond the Shell opportunities in groundnut processing. The knowledge shared and connections made today are sure to catalyze innovation and collaboration in the industry. We at iNDEXT-a have social media handles. You can see the QR code on your screen. Please follow them to stay connected and get timely updates of such events in the future. Thank you once again to all our speakers for the enlightening presentations, to our participants for their keen interest. Wishing you all continued success and a wonderful day. Thank you.